Scott, some experts says that unipolarity of United States ended in 2017. And do you think that it happened? It already happened, as Putin says in his recent speech. He said that we are going to get a new order in this world.
Well, I think it's already happened. Ask yourself this. Who was one of America's closest allies in the Middle East? Saudi Arabia. Since 1945, Saudi Arabia and the United States have had a very special relationship that's built around Saudi Arabia's role as the guarantor of energy security. If the United States needed more oil to go on the international market, Saudi Arabia would increase its oil. They overdeveloped their oil fields. If the United States needed less oil on the market, Saudi Arabia would decrease based upon the commands of the United States. This past July, Joe Biden went to Saudi Arabia after promising during the campaign he would never do any such thing, after calling out the Saudi leader, rightfully so, as a pariah for his role in the murder of Jamal Khashoggi. But in July, Biden went there, shook hands, violated all of his principles, got on his knees and begged the Saudis to do one thing: produce more oil. Biden wanted the Saudis to increase oil production by, I believe, somewhere around 1 million barrels a day. While Biden was making that argument, he was depleting the American strategic oil reserve, dumping American oil onto the market to try and control the price. The price, which, by the way, was out of control, not because of anything Russia did, but because of the sanctions the United States and Europe placed on Russian energy. But the price wasn't stabilizing. Biden needed more oil. He begged the Saudis to produce 1 million more barrels a day. Saudi Arabia said, we'll consider it, but we have to discuss it with our colleagues in the OPEC Plus meeting in August. The plus is Russia. So Russia was actually in the driver's seat when it comes time to dictating American energy security. And what Russia and Saudi Arabia finally agreed upon this month is that they're not going to increase oil. They're going to decrease oil by 2 million barrels a day. This put Joe Biden in a tremendous bind. We have a midterm election coming up, and we're going to see gas prices going up. It's almost like a fatal blow to the prospects of the Democrats who are running to try and retain control of the House and the Senate. But Russia controls the energy market, not the United States. We're seeing, the key to a unipolar world was, American dominance of the global economic scene. And part of that dominance came from the role of the dollar as the global reserve currency. But, what is Saudi Arabia doing right now? They're doing oil contracts with China using the Chinese currency. They're executing oil contracts with India using the Indian currency, oil contracts with Russia using the Russian currency. This is just a statement of fact. We see the Iranians doing the same thing. We're seeing the world talking about an alternative to the dollar. They're talking about creating this currency basket of reserve currencies. It's not a unipolar world anymore. It's a multipolar world. And for the United States, the bad news is, or the worst news, the bad news is it's a multipolar world. The worst news is the multipolar world doesn't like the United States and is willing to work without the United States. And so, the United States is rapidly finding itself to be, the man on the outside, trapped on the outside looking in. It's not a good position for the United States, but it's one that reflects the global reality that we no longer live in a unipolar world.